friends. We got a lot of things. We got a lot of things going on because with these two guys, we're going to do a American Graffiti. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. We're going to get to that in a minute. We got a lot of things to cover because we got so many plans for you. You don't even know. You come here for free and you get like high-end quality entertainment. You're going to get it in just a minute. Hey, but let's talk about what we did this week. That's how we're going to start this show. And we're going to start with me. I'm going to talk about myself. Friends, since this is all about car racing, I got my car racing shirt on. And American Graffiti is about cars. I was at the drag races all week. I've been shooting I'm a camera guy, and I was shooting car races. So I wanted to show off I've got one shot of a car burning out. And this is what cars burn out, and this is what it looks like. Here we go. That was a car burning out. And we're going to see a lot more of that later for our American Graffiti movie thing. Hey, but that leaves us to our next person. We've got some big news. Well, hey, Paul, now you had a concert in your house, did you not, sir? Could you please tell the people about your concert?
Technically, it was at Club L down in Tustin. It's the second time me and the Illegals have played down there. And this time we were graced by the presence of Jason Brown. He's a former Hank 3 bass player, upright bassist, and one of the most refined luthiers in Orange County and California altogether. We had a good time. We streamed it just through our iPads and iPhones and all that kind of thing. It's just good to play. There's not really too many things coming up right now with everything being shut down. So backyard parties and private shows are the way to go. Yeah. And we all tried our best to be, socially conscious of what was going on and stuff like that, and distant.
I just try to be conscious.
That too. That is important. So it was cool. I'll tell you this, though. I had a really awesome show on Friday night with Anthony at the Royal Hen on Balboa in Newport Beach. And everybody was pretty safe. Everyone stayed at their tables, and we got some really, really awesome tips. It was good. It was good to play with Anthony one more time before he's going out to Nashville for at least October, November. And hopefully he'll be back out here in December, and we'll make some more music then. But I'm happy he's going out there where it's kind of open. He'll have an opportunity to play some shows, so it'll be good for him.
Yeah, cool.
Yes, sir.
And I got one clip. I want to show just one clip of Paul's concert at Club L. Here we go.
All right.
Uh-oh.
Hey, man. You know what I like about that song? Because we got Jimbo's going to tell us one of his favorite records. And it happens to be from that band that does that same version of that song, Baby Please Don't Go. But we'll get back to that in a minute. Hey, so that's covered me. That covered Paul. Now, Big Sandy, you've got some huge news, sir. What's going on, Big Sandy? I want to know.
Well, on the show front, I'm going to do my first big event. I kind of we talked about last time we were here. We talked about how I kind of tested the waters and did a solo acoustic show at Campus Jack's, and that was a weird experience. But I felt kind of like shook off the cobwebs and not really ready to dive into it fully. But this will be the next step. But it's going to be a big step. On October 24th, I'm going to be doing a show with the Reverend Horton Heat and the Delta Bombers in Riverside at the Rubidoux Drive-In. So it's like we'll be up on the stage in front of the drive-in screen, and our performance will be showing up on the big screen, and people will be in their cars. There's been a few bands that have been doing the drive-in shows sort of thing. But I haven't been to one, so I'm excited to see how it's run. If it seems like a way to go in the future, if it's something I want to, do before too long with the Flyride boys. So this is another chance for me to test the waters on that. But October 24th, and I think they charge by the admission is like per carload. So it's kind of cool, kind of back at the American graffiti days. By it's kind of like an old school thing. You pile as many people as you can, into the rod, and yeah. But it should be a fun thing. That's October 24th. The Rubidoux Drive-In Theater in out in the Riverside area. So that's about a half an hour away from we're at, Tom, here in this part of Orange County.
Right on. So, hey, isn't that big news, friends? And we got a lot of people say it, like Susan Edwards says, I will be there. It just so happens I will be in Orange County at that week. So I think a lot of people are really excited to get this whole thing going.
I'll tell you what. We'll have to make sure to post the link to tickets, because I'm certain it's limited. Even with the cars, they limit how many how many people they let in there. It's going to be spaced out. So I'm certain it'll sell out. So we'll have to post, Tom, if we can post the information after the show, so we can make sure you get your tickets when you're here in town.
Yeah, you bet.
That's right.
You bet. Okay, friends. So that we got a lot of things to get to, and that's what happens with us. And later on, we're going to have Axle Idzardi is going to come in here, the ruler of the Rhythm Collision. He's also an expert on cars, and he's going to be joining us in a little bit. We're going to be talking about American Graffiti, one of my favorite movies. But before we do that, we did want to say that last week we had our what was it called, Miss West Coast Ramble, and this sweet lady, Danny Pocket, she won the contest, and we got her like $180, and she is Miss West Coast Ramble. But things went really well on that. So what we decided to do, we talked about with these guys. We said, hey, let's do a Halloween contest where guys and girls can enter, and that's what we want to do. So we're going to do our West Coast Ramble Halloween party, and we are encouraging you to send us a photo of you in your Halloween costume from this year, which not like 2 years ago when it was all awesome. Put your costume on, take a picture, send it to us, and you have an opportunity to win big cash. Yes, Mr. Sandy.
Well, I like that element of it. That's good, because we want something that you've done now for the show, for the contest. Is there a way they can verify that they might use a photograph from a few years ago or something of an outstanding costume they did? Maybe they can hold up a little, just with a little Sharpie, just write West Coast Ramble and hold it up in the picture or something like that.
Yeah, that's If you happen to have, you don't have to have a sticker, you could just put like WCR and hold it like in the small part of the picture, so we know it's verified. But you might say, hey, West Coast Ramble, I'm going to go through all this trouble and I'm not going to win anything. That's not true. What we're going to do is take, on the bottom here, we have our donations. And thanks to several sponsors, we get a lot of money to help out other people. And we're going to give 20% of whatever we make from now until the contest. 20% of the donations go to prize money. So if all we get is like $10, you're going to get $10 worth of. You're going to get $22 worth of. You're going to do $2 worth of prize money. But we've done pretty well, so we can give that back to you. But please tell your friends and get involved in this thing, and we'll put it on our Facebook and YouTube and stuff, and see how the contest is going. Yes, Big Sandy, talk.
What is it? When will the contest be? Do we have a date yet for that?
I don't have any idea.
Oh no, but it'll be like in that little period of time. It'll be right before Halloween.
Right before Halloween. You're right. Yeah, right before Halloween. Well, we'll set it up, and it was great. Like on the Miss West Coast Ramble, people kept looking in on the page and checking out as it started to grow. So we'll do that. That'll be really cool, man. So that's all I got to say about that. Now,
and if there's anybody here who hadn't watched our shows, before that contest, if you're here tonight, let us know on the comments, because we're kind of monitoring these. We're trying to monitor the comments more than we used to do, just so that can be a little bit more interactive. And I think it makes it more fun for everyone when we do it that way. Yeah. Right, Amanda?
I just want to interrupt really quick too and say, Mr. Bob Powell, he shared that ticket link with us. And I know for a fact the Delta Bomber show at Campus Jack's, a stellar show put on. I think that thing sold out in a day. So Reverend Horton Heat, Delta Bombers, and Big Sandy, that's probably going to sell out really fast. So that link is in there in the comments, people. Find it. Get there. Find a way to be at that show. It's going to be so cool. It's going to be a really good experience, guys. That's all I got to say about that.
Right. Good enough.
And
yes,
I wonder if we did. I wonder if the YouTube feed started working, because I see some some of our YouTube followers on here. So maybe not. Maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. We had an issue. We couldn't get on YouTube. But, that's another thing. On our YouTube channel, you can go to our YouTube channel, and we have all of our old shows. If you go to West Coast Ramble on YouTube, you can find all of our old shows and clips and things like that. And I would encourage you to hit the like button so we can get more people on YouTube as well. So with that in mind, let's continue our show. You know, friends, you were thinking we got some musicians here, really good musicians, but you might think that's all they do. We do other things. We've been practicing some other forms of entertainment, and we'd like to share that with you right now. Is that right, Mr. Big Sandy and Paul? Is that true?
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yes,
this is correct.
The break dancing thing.
No.
That was just for fun. That wasn't for the show, right?
No.
Oh, okay. I misunderstood.
All right.
I mean, you recorded it though.
All right, friends. So here's what we're gonna do. I happen to be a guitar player, and these guys.
He's a fine guitar player,
Yes.
guys. He's a really good guitar player.
I appreciate that. That's gonna put money, Fetty in my pocket. I'm gonna turn me down. And
One time, even the Reverend Horton Heat said that you were a great guitar player on this show.
Really?
Who said that?
The Reverend Horton Heat.
Wow. Do you think I could get into the concert for free then? In Rubidoux?
Probably not.
Robert, you won't even know me, but who is that guy?
It will only cost you 20% of the proceedings between now and Halloween.
Hey, I got I got this going here. You know what we're gonna do?
Is that old Paul I see right there?
Who's gonna
Hey, is that Big Sandy I see on that?
Looks like he has
All
something funny on his mind.
Big Sandy, I got one for you here, man. It's gonna kill you. All right. How many string bass players does it take to change a light bulb?
I don't know, Paul. How many string players? No, you messed up there. No.
Keep going. Yeah, you're right. Keep going.
I don't know, Paul. How many string bass players does it take to change a light bulb?
And stop. None. The piano player can do it all in his left hand.
Hey, that's funny, man. You can feel free to laugh at home.
Oh, well, that's hilarious. Hey, Paul.
Hey, Big
Paul.
Sandy. Yes, sir.
Speaking of music, and we are speaking of music.
I do love the music.
What kind of music might a windmill be into?
I don't know, Big Sandy. What kind of music is a windmill into?
Windmills in general are big metal fans.
You
That's
actually got me
pretty
on that one. All right. Robert, Big Sandy.
Either way.
How do you make a double bass sound in tune?
I don't know, Paul. How do you make a double bass sound in tune?
You chop it up and make it a xylophone.
No, dude. Now we gotta start back at A.
Let's keep going.
Here we go.
Hey, Paul.
What's up, Big Sandy?
Why did the Uber driver lose his job?
I don't know, Big Sandy. Why did the Uber driver lose his job?
Because of California Assembly Bill AB5. No. No. That's not why. Because he kept driving customers away.
Wait, hold on a second. I can't play and add these. Okay, Bob Pals has grown. Julie says definitely laughing. And Bob Pal said big metal fans. That's really funny. And,
Lloyd says, Paul, don't quit your day job.
Yeah.
All
Okay,
right.
let's resume the jokes.
All right. Big Sandy. How many bass players it's a variant of the last of 2 jokes ago. How many bass players does it take to change a light bulb?
How many bass players does it take to I've always wondered how many bass players does it take to change an light bulb?
1, 5, 4, 1, 4, 5.
Wow. See?
He's good at math.
Hey, Paul, can you explain that punchline to the folks at home?
Well, I'm not really a good bass player. I guess I can.
Okay.
You
Okay,
guys,
keep going, Tom.
yeah, we keep telling your jokes. I'm running out of frets though.
Anybody who
Okay.
doesn't know, a 1-4-5 is a version of a song. It's how you tell somebody the chords, kind of.
Hey, Paul.
What's up, Big Sandy?
What is Banksy? Banksy. What is Banksy's favorite movie of all time?
I don't know, Big Sandy. What is Banksy's favorite movie of all time?
American Graffiti. Oh, no, wait. British Graffiti.
Ah!
Oh, you guys, you still got more
All right. My last one, all right?
Okay, last
I
joke.
got a couple more.
Okay, one more
All
for
right.
Paul, one more for
Here
Big
we
Sandy.
go. Big Sandy. Donald Trump and Joe Biden walk into a bar.
Hey.
Is that the punchline is included in the joke, right?
That is. So you got it.
All right, keep going. All right.
All right, give us one.
All
Give
right.
us one more, Robert.
Okay.
Hey, Paul.
What's up, Big Sandy?
You were listening earlier when Tom was talking about his profession, what he does for a living, right?
I was.
But I'm going to ask you, why did Tom Almanzar get thrown in prison?
I don't know. Why did Tom get thrown into prison?
Because he shot a drag race.
Was it RuPaul's Drag Race?
No, not that one.
Okay.
Probably. All
Okay,
right.
I have another one. Hey, Paul.
Yes, sir.
Why did old worrying Tom give up playing the guitar?
I don't know. Why did worrying Tom give up playing the guitar?
Because he didn't want to fret.
I'm running out of frets.
Hey! There it is.
Hey,
Hey.
that was some high quality entertainment there, if you ask me.
That was at least 10 minutes of good entertainment there.
Okay.
Now, wouldn't you, one of you viewers at home, like to be part of this sort of joyous sort of banter?
What are you suggesting? That we have someone actually have a guest come in and tell their jokes?
Yeah, maybe somebody who's actually funny.
Yeah, Lord
we
knows
got-
it's not me.
Hey, we got Abby. Hey, Abby, we played your song on the opening, your new song. That,
So don't sue us over Facebook over it.
yeah, Bob Powell, the Dome Ching.
Oh, what is that?
Okay, guys, here's what we're gonna do now. Before Axel, get ready. We're gonna start talking about American Graffiti until they kick us off the air for playing clips. But Paul, you sent in. Tell us about. We had album covers, our favorite album covers last week, and this week you have a guest telling us about his favorite album cover. What's going on?
I'm sorry. Somebody just Esteban says, "Hey Paul, how many jokes does it take to get a laugh?"
Wait, that's not the Esteban, is it?
Oh man, I hope
Maestro?
so. I love it. All right. Well, my brother and one of the people I love the most, one of my favorite bass players, he took the time to send us in a video of his favorite album cover. And we've been talking a lot about his band. Make sure you buy tickets to the Reverend Horton Heat,
Yeah.
Delta Bombers, and Big Sandy. Make sure you get those tickets now, guys. Anyway, we have a video from the one and only, the Nature Boy, Jimbo Wallace.
Probably.
Hey Paul, this is Jimbo from Reverend Horton Heat. I just wanted to let you know what my favorite album cover of all time is. It's the Restless Why Don't You Just Rock album cover. And when I saw that album cover, I was just getting into what was going on in the European scene, and it has the drummer jumping in midair with his legs spread apart. And I knew that rockabilly at that point could be for young people. And they were writing all their own songs. And when I finally heard the record, I was just blown away. It's one of my main influences. But that album cover alone said it all to me. That it wasn't an old style of music. It was current, and it was still, real rock and roll. And that was one of my first forays into the European rockabilly scene. And I started researching and finding out, about all these other bands that were going on, and it was a real inspiration to me. And that album cover was just so full of energy and young guys. Instead of the old, the old guard, the old rockabilly guys, playing their old hits. It was new music, and it really sold me on, learning how to play the upright bass. And I had started a band called Six Gun with Tom Lewis and Brent Wilson, who later on became the Wagoneers. And eventually I, joined Reverend Horton Heat, and it was all fun and rock and roll from then on. And I've just really loved that album cover, and it really makes a lot of big impression on me. And I wanted to let you know about that one. So I don't know if you have a copy of it, but you should post a copy of the album cover up for everybody to see. Anyway, thanks, man.
Tomorrow, man.
Hey guys, we're back. So that was Jimbo. Man, that was cool. Yeah, Robert, you said you
I
had...
love me some Jimbo.
Now, Big Sandy, you were talking that you like that record. You had a comment on that?
I love it. I remember this album over in the States. Was a actually, and we didn't always have DJs. We didn't always have DJs at the show. It wasn't a thing like the record hops and like it is now here in the States. But there was a DJ that played Restless, and it really caught my ear because, wait a minute, it kind of has like an old feel, but I know it's not. I couldn't process it. It was something very new to my ears. And later, I asked James if he knew what that was, and he introduced me to the guy who was spinning records that night. He goes, "Yeah, it's a new kind of rockabilly. It's called neo rockabilly. They're from England. They're called Restless." So anyway, that started off, a love affair for me with the band. I really, they're still my favorite, from the '80s, like non-traditional band that kind of did something new with it, but still, I don't know. They did their own thing with rockabilly music, but without making it like rock music. And I love them for that. Anyway, that's all I have to say.
All right.
Great guitar player.
Okay, hold on a second, Alex. We have to introduce you properly. Friends,
Okay.
We are now going to be talking about American Graffiti. And we happen to bring in an expert. And that expert is Alex Idzardi. Please say hello to Alex. Axle. Here we go, Axel. Hey, say hello to the people.
Hey. How you doing, buddy?
Good.
Yeah.
It's good to see you, man. It's been way too long.
I forgot what you look like, bud.
Well, kind of like this is how I've looked for the last 90 years.
I want to start this thing off right, okay? So I've got a little something in my hand here that I'm going to pop in front of the screen. Back in 1992, when the Shifters Hot Rod Club were formed, we happened to be somewhere outside of Bakersfield and went to an old roadside liquor store, and I found this bottle. Who knows how long it's been sitting, but I've had this bottle of Old Harper since 1992.
Oh!
At for the past 28 years, everybody takes a sip, and I still have half a bottle left. So we're going to...
that's an American Graffiti reference right off the bat. That's there. Right. Yeah, man.
Robert knows.
Yeah.
Well, friends, we're going to get into American Graffiti, and hopefully we don't get taken off the air because I got a whole bunch of clips lined up. But what I'm going to do for 1 minute, in case you don't know the movie American Graffiti, I've got a 1 minute promo clip that kind of tells the movie. So if you bear with us for 1 minute, you will find out what the whole movie is about. Here we go. Roll the clip.
Okay, I'll watch.
Don't be stupid. Experience life. Have some fun.
Oh, you pinched me.
I'm sorry.
You got a bitchin' car.
Yeah, I know. Tell him I aim to blow his ass right off the road.
You can go for a ride.
Hey, driving is a serious business.
That can't be your car. It must be your mama's car.
Why is it every girl that comes around here is ugly? Tonight, things are gonna be different. I just saw a goddess.
I'm having fun as usual.
Why'd you do that?
Rock and roll's been going downhill ever since Buddy Holly died.
Is this your car?
I'll let you feel the upholstery.
I just love it when guys peel out.
Seeing other people while I'm away would strengthen our relationship.
Get out of my car!
Hey, so that was American Graffiti. So if you don't know what it's about, you should now. Okay, I'm going to bring up our friends. Hey, let's do it this way, guys. We're gonna start with our favorite clips. Hey, hold on a second. Let's see what Lloyd Buckfoy says, Han Solo. What? Was Han Solo in this movie? I didn't know that.
That's
Ham
why I
salad.
love the movie.
For those fans of Hardware Wars, that's actually ham salad.
Okay. Hey, you know what we're going to do now? Let's talk about our favorite clips from this whole movie. And we're going to start with Alex, our guest. Alex, take it away. What's your favorite clip?
Or Axle.
Axel, dude, you told me, and I apologize.
Just because so many people in the car world know me as my nickname.
Axel.
There's so many scenes, but for some reason, one of the many scenes that I love is towards the end when Harrison Ford and Cindy Williams pull up to Mel's Drive-In in the 55 Chevy, where John Milner is tuning his car, and John Milner, the 55 Chevy pulls up, and John Milner just looks at him and says two words, and it just resonated with me. He said Paradise Road.
Let me roll that clip.
Okay.
Paradise Road.
It's a movie filled with them, you know.
So that, I love
Go
it.
to
Unless
me.
you hate it.
Tom, go to me next because I just don't. Alex and Robert will expand more. I just have like a personal.
Well,
okay.
You're live.
And Tom,
You're
and
live
real
now.
quick,
You're live now, Paul.
Tom,
Tell me. Yes. Oh,
which
yes.
one
All right.
Which one do
All
I
right,
say
we're live.
first, Tom?
Let me
What-
tell you guys.
You guys, we're live, so whatever one you want, sir. It's dealer's
I
choice.
see.
Dealer's
Okay.
choice. Paul, let's go with you. Tell
I'll
us.
tell you, it's just it's a great movie and I love it. But the one thing that always sticks out to me is like the whole Wolfman scene, is because my grandma Carol, rest her soul, she definitely turned me on. I knew who the Wolfman was since I was really young, and she would always say that, oh, it sounds just like my football coach, Bruce Rollinson, from Modern Day. But just finally getting to, and I didn't watch that movie until, about a few months ago for the first time. And so to see the Wolfman in person, it really just, it hit me emotionally to be like, oh man, that's someone my grandma taught me about. And I've just never really made the connection about it.
Yeah. And Paul, you got, Robert, Big Sandy, I'm on you right now. You're talking about the Wolfman as well.
Well, actually, I would just add this to what you're saying, Paul, because that is one of my favorite scenes as well. And they sort of allude to that in the movie. Mackenzie Phillips' character says she's not allowed to listen to Wolfman Jack because her parents won't let her listen, because he's what does she say? How does she because he's a Negro to a lot of the world that was the first time people had a chance. They knew the voice. That's the first time they actually got to see Wolfman Jack, and I like the way they revealed that. You don't even find out that that's him instantly. It's he's, oh yeah, the Wolfman's not here. Yeah, he's he's just on tape. Pops in every once in a while, and then you find out, wait a minute, that's him. So anyway, that revealed to me. What's that?
Great scene.
To me, as a young person, that was like, oh wow, it was there was a little magic in that. So yeah, let's watch that.
Okay.
Paul. I agree with you on that.
Okay, I'm looking
Thank you.
I got my clear. Here we go. Wolfman Jack.
Wait a minute. Have a popsicle. Have a
No.
Huh?
No, thanks.
Sit down a minute. It's early in the morning. Damn. I can't talk for the Wolfman, but I can tell you one thing. If the Wolfman was here, he'd say, get your ass in gear. The Wolfman comes in here occasionally, bringing tapes, to check up on me and whatnot. Yeah. And the places he talks about that he's been, the things he's seen. And there's a great, big, beautiful world out there. And here I sit, sucking on popsicles.
Why don't you leave?
I'm not a young man anymore. And the Wolfman gave me my start in the business, and I like it. I tell you what, if I can possibly do it tonight, I'll try to relay this dedication in and get it on the air for you later on.
That would be terrific. Really. Thanks.
Yes, man.
Rock on, baby, we gonna do it right here. Rock and roll yourself to death. Oh, mercy, give me some
But yeah, I still get
You're good.
I still get chills when I watch that. It's funny. It really takes me. Well, I've watched it so many times since I was a kid, but still to this day, I still get little chills. Some of those chills watching. And Wolfman did so much. Just like that movie, like just the radio was such an important part that tied the whole story together. Just like our lives, Axel, right? I mean, that was like the story of our lives. Not the exact details, but growing up with that music, that was the thread through our lives. And I know you know a lot about Wolfman Jack himself. Can you tell us tell us what you know about the man?
Well, his real name couldn't be more simpler and basic. He was born Weston Smith.
All right.
In Brooklyn, New York. And he got into radio at an early age and kind of hopscotched around until he finally bought a house with his wife in Shreveport, Louisiana. And then he got this job offer in Mexico. And what a lot of people don't realize why he went to Mexico, and to be more specific, I believe the town is called Acuna, Mexico. In Mexico, I don't know, it still might be that way today, but definitely back in the 50s and 60s, there was no government regulations. So they pumped up the wattage to 250,000 watts. Literally, people could drive from New York to California and never miss a signal. And listen the whole way. That was never heard of. Here in the States, I think, then, I don't know about now, the maximum wattage allowed on radio was 50,000 watts.
Right.
So that's, 5 times that amount. Very significant, So that was pretty cool. He worked at, I think it was called XERB Radio until later on in the late 60s. He relocated to California, got a job in LA for the Mighty 1090. You guys know that?
That's his home of the San Diego Superchargers, baby.
That's right. Okay. And then, in the early 70s, just a side little trivia, when George Lucas finally got permission from Universal to make the movie, he knew he had to have Wolfman Jack in this movie. And Wolfman Jack, by the time he moved to LA, he was just getting by financially speaking. He was bringing bologna sandwiches to work, George Lucas gave Wolfman Jack a point of the profits from American Graffiti. And due to the success of the movie, it set up Wolfman Jack for life financially and the popularity. You guys probably remember in the mid to late 70s, he had his own program. I think it was called Midnight Special.
Yeah, Midnight Special. Yeah.
The rest is kind of history, as they say, regarding Wolfman Jack. Pretty cool little, trivia there.
Yeah. Well, okay. Let's go back. Hey, Axel, since you're there, what's you got another favorite scene coming up?
The drag racing scene.
Which one? Oh, but there's two. There's two drag races. Which one?
I like them both, but of course, Booker T and the MGs, man.
Okay.
Green Onions, the final drag race scene, the main one.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna play that now. Give us a minute to watch that. Here we go.
Is she gonna ride with you?
Mind your own business, John.
Yeah, she's going with me. You take care of yourself, man. Okay, you guys ready?
Yeah, man, I love that race. That was cool, Axel. So as far as like racing, that's still the way they do it. Is that the way you guys do it, Axel? When you guys get out with?
You know, I used to be involved in illegal street racing back in the early '80s, and it was no different than just the cars were different, but you know, outside of town somewhere.
Yeah.
There's something really important that I'd like to talk about, Tom, in regards to the movie, and then I'd like Robert to kind of maybe chime in when I'm done here.
Yeah.
So, the movie is set in 1962, right? And the movie debuted in 1973. And we've had this conversation for a long time over the years, all the guys in the car club and just all the American Graffiti nerds. If you look at, let's say, for instance, 1930 to 1940, socially, physically, fashion-wise, there's some differences, but not much. If you look at 1940 to 1950, sure, there are differences with, you know, subtle differences with music and clothing and stuff, but not a whole lot. Yeah. However, when you look at the 10 years or 11 years,
yeah, you're right,
from 1962 to 1973, that is a gigantic difference.
Gigantic leap. Yeah.
You know, in the early 1970s, we were still in a social unrest. The Vietnam War, the protesting music, the psychedelia, drug culture. We just had, you know, Martin Luther King assassination.
And those are just the good things. No.
I know you're joking.
Go ahead.
We had all this different drastic cultures, the long hair and all this stuff. I feel, and he's never made this really public, but I feel George Lucas said, here we are in 1973. Look how things were just a decade prior. You know, 1962 was still the 50s. Musically speaking, the style-wise, the cool cars, it was, you know, so that being said, why was American Graffiti so underestimated and as a result so hugely popular with the audience? I in my opinion, American Graffiti struck a serious nerve with everybody, and it couldn't have come out at a better time. It was a pivotal turning point in American and rock and roll culture.
Yeah.
And because of American Graffiti, what so many people don't realize, that spawned or influenced so many TV programs and movies like Happy Days, Laverne and Shirley, The Buddy Holly Story, American Hot Wax, Grease, you know, Wanderers, Lords of Flatbush, The California Kid, and
PG.
American Graffiti, and that whole time frame. I think people were just, for lack of better words, Robert, I think people were hungry for the good old classic Americana. A perfect example, when I was a kid, it was either first grade or preschool, and don't laugh at me here, but there was these two guys, we remember, a couple that came in with their guitars, and they looked like Greg Brady and Marsha Brady, and they had a sit Indian style, and they sang Don McLean's American Pie. And at that time, I didn't know what it was about then. I do now. It was my favorite song as a kid, not knowing years later that American Pie, they're talking about the nostalgia, Buddy Holly dying and the day the music died, you know? So there's just a lot of parallels with that. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
You know, I know what you're trying to say, and it's looking like a lot of other people are picking up what you're laying down here, because our viewership just went up, way up, and they're echoing your sentiments there. So you're striking a chord there. For me, Axel, from where I sit now here in 2020, I agree with you completely. At the time, you know, I was too young to even process why I dug it so much. So this is all looking back. But at the time, you know, I grew up in a family with parents that were all they told me about was like, oh man, the 50s were, man, that's when it was cool, you know, because they were children. They grew up. They you know, they came of age in the 50s.
That's
and
right.
They all through the tumultuous times of the 60s, they were, you know, I mean, they kind of rode with it, but they always told, as when I became old enough to even process what they were telling me, they told me, oh man, back then that's when it was, that was cool. And I had all these like romanticized visions of what the 50s were like, and I love that music. There's no denying the magic of that music. So I was primed for it. I was ready for it. But as it turns out, so was the rest of the world, or at least the rest of our country here. After, like you said, it was just like there was a loss of innocence here during that time, here in our country, and there was a yearning for a simpler time. But also on a more personal level, I was growing up, and I couldn't wait to be a teenager. To me, what did it mean to be a teenager? To have to ride in a cool car and have your girlfriend by your side, or cruising down the road. To me, that's what I thought. I thought as soon as you're a teenager, that's what it's like instantly. American Graffiti. Of course, it's not. But a lot of us later, when the 80s started, we tried to recreate that world. And maybe that's, some people accuse people who are into this older sort of music as, wow, you're living in a make-believe world. Well, it's not make-believe if you make it real here and now. You don't have to accept all of the values that they had then, but there's certain elements of it that you can carry forward and even improve on.
Nostalgic lifestyle, we do essentially make our own memories, right? So in addition to what I was talking about a second ago, in that era of the early 70s, I know one of these bands predated what we're coming to mention, but I think their fame escalated after American Graffiti. So I think it all ties in. There was, in that era of all the long-haired, psychedelia bands and everything, there was a rise of tribute bands like Sha-Na Na on the East Coast.
Yeah.
The band that you saw in American Graffiti at the Sock Hops was a band called Flash Cadillac and the Continental Kids. Yeah. I saw them with my parents in the mid-'70s at Knott's Berry Farm. And the place was jam-packed. And I distinctly remember after American Graffiti debuted, there was all these comeback concerts. There was a huge, at Madison Square Gardens, and I think around the same time as American Graffiti, Dion and the Belmonts reunited, and there was this oldies. There were so many. I remember seeing the Everly Brothers at Knott's Berry Farm, and all this was American Graffiti. So I think I don't want to say it validated all those bands from the 50s, but yeah, maybe in a way it did. It just made people kind of realize, like George Lucas intended, or his objective was to, man, this was great stuff back then, guys.
Yeah. I wanted to say something too about like that. I had the cassette tape in the 80s, and I had a 55 Ford pickup truck, and I'd cruise around, and it was a tape of the soundtrack from American Graffiti, playing it in my truck, and it was awesome. Like I felt like I was gonna find Bob Falfa driving next to me or something. but the part that was what I really missed, I just had to envision that everybody driving with me had an old car, and they would be listening to the same music I would, and it would echo. Like when you see the movie, the soundtrack echoed because everyone had it on their radios. And so,
damn.
I mean,
not only that, Tom, but we touched on this off the air back then. I know this for a fact because I picked the brains of old hot rod guys for the past 40 years. Everyone was listening to the same radio station when they're cruising small town America. They were all listening to Wolfman Jack. So it was almost in reverb when you were just, everyone had their windows down, summertime, so that was kind of badass.
And that needs to be mentioned as far as the way the sound was on that.
That's right.
Up until the very end, when they played that last Beach Boys song, up until then, through the whole movie, it wasn't really a soundtrack. It was the music as it was being heard by the characters in the film.
Yeah.
It was like through their car speakers, or echoing at the drive-in. And I think the way they mixed it, it had that. Yeah. It really felt like you were there.
George Lucas, I heard he spent a whole bunch of money for the rights for all the music, but he picked everything for the scene. Obviously, like if you listen, it's subliminally like the song kind of goes along with what's happening in the movie, but obviously it's on the radio. So I just thought it was just brilliant what he did.
Hey, gentlemen.
Yes. Hold on, Paul.
Can I? Let me ask one side tangent here. I would love to hear just a few more stories or a few more details about this. Can all three of you please tell me some more great bands from Knott's Berry Farm performances? because I am missing Not Scary Farm right now. And I'll tell you, in a modern day and age, Not Scary Farm not too long ago had the Rockets playing there, and that was badass in itself. So I would like to, if you guys could just remember and we had Bob bring up the same thing here. Bob Powell bring up about knots. So if I can just get like a 5-minute interjection about I'll awesome
start.
knots bands.
I'll start.
Axel.
I saw the Everly Brothers 70s. I think I was 12, 13 years old. That was really cool. It's not the show that the Everly Brothers got into an argument on stage, and
that's where they had their big split on stage there.
That.
What?
Yeah. On stage in front of a live audience.
Yeah.
It wasn't that show. I saw Flash Cadillac and the Continental Kids, but all I could do after that is jump up to the 80s. I remember seeing Jimmy and the Mustangs at Knott's.
Oh, that's way cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you, Robert?
Go, Robert or Big Sandy, you're up.
Oh, me? I thought he said, I don't know. I was still thinking American Graffiti, so that was kind of like a left turn all of a sudden.
I'm sorry.
I'll go. You know, we used to go there to
Nightscape?
Knott's Berry Farm, yeah. But the best.
No. What did they have there? What was the club they had there?
Something 9, like Cloud 9 or
Cloud
something.
Cloud 9.
Yeah, but the problem with that is they'd only play one rockabilly song, so you have to sit through Duran Duran and Haircut 100 until you heard your rockabilly song.
Which sounds pretty good these days compared to. Anyway, go ahead.
Okay.
Sound like an old man.
Your question, Paul. Jamie James and the King Bees. And I took my shoes off, and I was gonna try to be like a sock hop, and I was dancing, and they made me put my shoes back on, and I was humiliated. Like Jamie James and the King Bees, My Mistake was a great song. Check it out if you haven't.
Awesome. I'm sorry to interrupt, guys.
That's okay. Can I respond to you, Tom?
Yeah.
Hey,
during the making of American Graffiti, and Universal granted a he granted a $500,000. Universal granted, I think, $500,000 budget for Universal for American Graffiti. George Lucas and a friend literally played 45's records at his home, and each record he played, he wrote down notes for the scene of that song.
No way, really? That's cool.
So Johnny Be Good was going to be when they, let the air out of the '60 Cadillac. Green Onions was going to be the drag race. Yeah, that's a little side trivia there. That's kind of cool.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I love the fact that they said that they made that movie for $750,000. I watched this documentary on it, and they had 10 different movies that they did for $750,000. And actually, it's the movie that's made the most. I think it has a record for only being $750,000. It's made millions. So for the investment, it's made way more. And people keep watching it.
1973, they didn't even think it was going to get a tenth of this. The revenue was $55 million in 1973.
Whoa.
And because it was so highly popular, they re-showed that in movie theaters in 1978, and it generated $63 million.
No.
And the soundtrack, I think, sold 3 million copies. So,
well, and I bought that as soon as it came out. That gatefold thing like the picture behind you that was on the cover of it.
Yep.
And what a beautiful soundtrack. Oh my good Lord. It was just like rock and roll doo-wop at its best. It was just so well picked out, the songs they used for the film, and they weren't trying to be cool by going these deeply underground obscure things. They just picked some really great music that would pull you into the mood of the film,
So speaking of that, Robert, one song, every song in the soundtrack, from start to finish, is amazing, and I love every song for different reasons, even perhaps. But one song, every time it's played, it just resonates with me. Is
which one?
"Runaway" by Del Shannon.
Oh man, yeah.
When I hear that, even if I hear it on the radio right now, it just gives me goosebumps, man.
Yeah.
What's your favorite?
Well, for me, even just right off the bat, because when are you going to hear, we heard it later with Happy Days, but right off the bat, when you hear Bill Haley, right off the bat, this is my kind of movie, right off the bat. And you think about those times, which had strayed so far away from the things, you know, I was, even as a kid, it was, you know, the times were, I was not in tune with the times. But as soon as that movie opened, it's like, okay, when you, even though it's like, oh, okay, yeah, that song, it's just like almost like a throwaway to people now. No, but when that movie opens and you hear Bill Haley with "Rock Around the Clock," it's like, shoot, like, and it's not quite the sound on it is not quite like the record. There's like this ambient sound to it that just pulls you into the moment of the movie. Anyway, that's no. There's a lot of there's so many other. Oh, it's a magical movie for me.
Just to make one more family reference for myself, to have "That'll Be the Day" on there, that was great for me, and also to have "Maybe Baby." You know, it was awesome to have 2 Buddy Holly songs.
Which absolutely, which Axel leads to one of the quotes from the movie, right? About the
going downhill ever since Buddy Holly died.
Yeah, man.
Yep.
And you know that was the sentiment of a lot of rock and rollers at that time.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
Well, I got something to say.
My father, rest his soul, just he goes up to the so it's like pre-64 for him, you know.
Well, I had something to say too. We got on the opening. Jorge says, "I love the opening crash scene with the white smoking scooter, Mel's diving, and the sound of Bill Haley song." Yeah, I read. I saw the what? Oh, I saw the documentary.
No, I think it's what you're going to say.
Yeah, I saw the documentary, and when was it Charles Martin Smith, the actor? They wanted him to like go install the scooter in the beginning, but he didn't really know how to ride a scooter. He just like drove around the block, and if you see the movie, he drives up into the parking lot and he hits the parking block, and like instead of stalling it, he pops the clutch and like he runs into the trash can. And if you see it real quick, he looks up at the director like, should I stop? And the director just, they wanted him to keep going. And so it was a mistake, and he left it in the movie. Like George Lucas would do stuff. For example, like when they go to the liquor store and the guy rips off the bottle and throws it to Toad, and Toad almost barely drops it. They said that he did it like 10 times, and every time he would catch it like right here, he would just catch it right there. But the one time he wasn't watching and it almost dropped it, George Lucas is all, okay, that's great. That's the way I want it. So it was kind of like the first reality show.
Yeah.
It was cool the way he directed it.
That is way cool.
Yeah.
Let's hear it for Charles Martin Smith, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you guys
want to hear a little bit of video?
Yeah, go.
Yes.
So I'll start off with this. There's a scene where Mackenzie Phillips, throughout the movie, she's riding with John Milner, and he's trying to lose her, but she's like, oh no, Carol's going to have some fun, and she ain't leaving until she gets some fun. Towards the end of the 3/4 of the way through the movie, he tries to, insinuate like he's going to make a move on her, and then she goes, it was all an act. Remember that scene?
Yeah.
He said, if you told me where you live, I'd take you home, but you won't, so here we are, just you and I alone. She says, 3, 2, 1, Ramona. It's easy, I'll show you. Well, that in real life was George Lucas's home address in Modesto.
Wow.
That's funny. Cindy Lee Spence says, Carol is bitching.
Also, the license plate in all the car guys. You can't be a car without knowing this part, but anyway, some fun George Lucas trivia. The license plate in Paul LeMat, John Milner's 32 Coupe, says THX 138. Well, THX 1138 was a sci-fi college project film that George Lucas made prior. Going forward, in Star Wars, there's a quick millisecond scene where you see on one of the spaceships fuzzy dice hanging in the background. So George Lucas, in every movie he makes, leaves a little memento of the previous film.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love Star Wars. I'm a huge Star Wars nerd, man. I knew that one too. That's great.
And also, American Graffiti was filmed in the whole project was filmed in a little over a month.
Yeah.
Damn.
One thing I wanted to add to it too is like when they did the movie, it's supposed to be in the summer, like what is it, like in September or something like that, when it's hot.
Yes.
In Petaluma,
September.
Yeah, Modesto. But it was really cold when they filmed it. So if you watch it, like Candy Clark, when she's walking around. If you can see some of the scenes, she like puts sweats on underneath her dress. It's like so like when they're making out or something, I think you could see it. And so like they said when they did that, those guys like when you watch the movie, you're all, man, I love that shirt that Richard Dreyfuss is wearing, or like when I did, I thought I want to dress kind of like that. They said that when they made the movie, they had to wear those same clothes for a month, and they hated those clothes. And they actually picked them out themselves when they got to the trailer. It wasn't like they had some wardrobe guy saying, "You wear this." They just said, "Here's some stuff that fits you. Wear this."
Yeah. So I can answer that. The movie is about Modesto in 1962, but nothing was filmed there. That was George Lucas' hometown. Everything in American Graffiti was filmed in and around the Northern California Bay Area. 75% of it was filmed in this little town called Petaluma, which is just like a
shout out to Dan.
Victorian time capsule of a town,
Yeah.
Kevin Sinus, Sledge and the Shifters at the Car Club, he and I took a road trip and went to Petaluma, and we found so many scenes from the movie. The used car lot where Toad, the guy says, we got this Corvette for $99 down, $99 a month. The cop car scene where the rear end comes out.
Yeah.
And we found, right outside of Petaluma, we found the liquor store where Toad and Kenny Clark.
Really?
Oh, man.
That's
really
cool.
cool.
You need to make a little video that I know there's other. It's a movie that has a lot of a lot of people have done their supplemental thing.
Absolutely.
But you guys need to, like, the ones who are really, really, have based the lifestyle on that. Really, if you follow it through, like you said, leading up to our rockabilly scene, that's the roots of where we came from in my life, and I know it's the same for you. You should do you should record that. You should tape that, man.
Yeah.
You and Kevin going back.
We found the road where the drag race scene was, the final drag race.
Really?
Scene.
Oh, that's right.
What is the name of that road? It's not Paradise.
Yeah, it's in San Rafael.
Okay. Oh, it's in San Rafael. Okay.
Yeah. So, also some other trivia.
Yeah.
Watching late night on an Actors Guild show with Richard Dreyfuss, the moderator said, asked him, "What's your favorite thing?" And Richard Dreyfuss answered, "What things do you all kinds of stuff." And then his final question to Richard Dreyfuss was, "What one thing do you hate?" And Richard Dreyfuss responded with rock and roll. I couldn't believe that.
What?
Oh.
Yep.
Well, we should disavow that guy. Let's all get together on that one. That's terrible.
I just
like,
couldn't
okay. Well, okay. So, yeah.
There you have it. One last thing, top of my head. So,
another last thing.
Harrison Ford was asked to be in the movie, and he agreed. Which, how do you agree to be in a movie? Anybody would kill to be in a movie. Yeah. He agreed to be in a movie so long as he didn't have to cut his hair. Thus, the reason with the cowboy hat.
Yeah, he was supposed to have a crew cut, and he said, "I'll do it because I don't want to get stuck. It's in the '70s. What if he gets another job, and I've got this this crew cut? I can't get a job."
Which brings up the point that everybody thought it was going to be a quick shoot, this sort of a throwaway movie, right?
That's true.
This nostalgia movie about this old 50s.
That's a good point, too.
Not knowing it was going to influence a whole generation of people,
Yeah. All right, guys. I think we talked long enough about this. If we have any, we can carry on the conversation later. But Axle, since we have you here, you run the Rhythm Collision, a big concert at the beginning in January. Everyone around here goes to it in Southern California. What do you got? What do you got planned? You're a smart guy. You're always working on something. What's going on?
Yeah. So, as you know, it was a hard decision. It wasn't an easy decision. I was up multiple nights figuring out the do's and don'ts, but at the end of the day, because of what's happening in the world, and Robert and I were talking this off camera, the decision was made to cancel next year's Rhythm Collision.
Yeah.
But I've signed a contract, and it's all signed, sealed, delivered with the Marriott, same location, for 2022 to do the Rhythm Collision.
Okay.
That being said, I'm itching like, professional musicians like my cousin James Infelt or Robert or the Paladins. These guys make a living from this, and that's all that they do. I'm the promoter part of me on that. I mentioned. So I'm thinking of doing a one-day late spring or summer
Really?
Marriott.
That's awesome.
At the pool area, I was even thinking like a summer surf thing with surf bands and so a couple DJs and some vendors, some Hawaiiana tiki kind of just kind of blend the whole thing. That's just one thing off the top of my head I was thinking about. So that's what I got going on.
All right.
Other than that,
I hope it happens, man.
Yeah, cool. Hey, and
when you land on something definite, we'll make sure that we let people know about it here, man. That's really cool to hear, Alex.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah. So, okay, well, before we get going, everyone's got to go around the table and tell us what's going on. Big Sandy, quickly, can you reiterate, in case people missed the beginning of our show, what is going on with you and the Rev?
Well, I'll just talk about what's going on with me in general, which will include that. So my week coming up is back to shipping and posting all the orders that have been coming out, and I have to thank everybody out there for who have ordered our records during this downtime. Since we're not playing as a band, it's been such a blessing for people to order our merchandise, and I'm glad I have a place to send it out from. So I'll be doing more of that. There is a show coming up, a drive-in show, October 24th. Reverend Horton Heat. I'll be part of his show as a guest, singing right in the middle of his set. Delta Bombers are opening up. We will be posting the ticket details, and I think it's going to sell out really quick. So we'll make sure we get that information up, and hope to see some of you people there, even if it is from a distance.
Yeah. All right. And then Pope Paul, what do you got going on, sir? Talk to us.
Well, guys, I just want to tell everybody who's been watching and listening, I text my good friend Jimbo that everybody loved him, and he texted me that he loves you guys too. Thanks for watching West Coast Ramble. That's where I got so much for this episode. Thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. Thanks for the support.
Okay, and then we're going to put everyone up here. Here's what I got to say. I would like to get everyone involved in our Halloween contest on West Coast Ramble. We're going to be doing that. Let's start right away, man. If you got a photo of you in your costume, send it in with like put like a piece of paper that says West Coast Ramble so we know it's not from like 10 years ago. And send it to us, and you can win some feria, some cambio. And last time, Danny Pocket, when she won Miss West Coast Ramble, she won like almost $200. So it might be worth your time. So I want to thank everyone for joining us, and thank you to this guy, Axel. Thank you very much for being with us. Axel, we got you up. Say hello. Say goodbye to the people, Axel.
Well, before I say goodbye, Tom, Robert, a big shout out to our dear, solid brother, Kenny, for getting out of the hospital.
Yeah, man. Thank you for doing that. Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Oh, man.
Kenny Solheim, he just went through heart surgery. He's recovering from that. He's on the better side of it. Thank you for mentioning that. But you had us at the Rhythm Collision with the reunion of the Moondogs. That he was so man. I think you made his man
decade.
That meant man. So I'll tell you guys really quick too. Like Kenny made me feel so welcome. I got to play bass on 2 songs for that, and Kenny made me feel like the coolest guy in the world. I'm so happy he's doing all right. So hell yeah. He's one of
the sweethearts that I know. Yeah.
That's great. So all I got to say, since we have Axel here, we'll be on the next bill at Rhythm Collision. Thank you. Talk to you later. All right, guys. Well, I think that's it for West Coast Ramble, and I think we're going to get out of here with a little bit of Restless. And sorry about all the troubles, but thank you for sticking with us. Any last words?
Oh, hey, real quick. If you dug this, help us to keep it going here. You can. I know they see it at the bottom of the screen, but maybe we re-emphasize how much the donations help. That's all.
Yeah, donations help everybody.
We love you guys.
And 20% is going to go to the Halloween costume. Yes, sir.
One last thing. Yes. Everybody has to listen to one song tonight before they go to bed, and this ties in with everything tonight, especially Robert. And you're gonna get this, Robert. Border Radio by the Blasters.
Hell yeah.
Actually, yes.
All right,
He
guys.
talks, yeah, absolutely, yes.
Okay,
All right.
that's it. We're going to go out with our great show. I love all you guys. That's all a lot of fun.
Phil, man.
We'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Love ya.